Hey guys, I'm getting a lot of questions in regards to the breathing course. How do I implement the breathing course, especially on older children? And the hard part about the breathing course is you might want me to show you an example of how I would work on my son doing this, but the problem is breathing is such a subtle movement and my son is such a busy character. I'm going to be moving my hands so subtly that it's gonna look like nothing on camera. So if I can provide you with a better visual, hopefully that will help you identify what you're looking for and what you're trying. My number one tip is to get a deflated ball. This is like a deflated peanut physio ball. This is what's gonna mimic most the breathing chest of a human. If you don't have this, you could always practice on like a slightly deflated like balloon or something like that. But one of the ways that I was able to really implement movement lesson was by making use of practicing with things like a deflated ball or a bowl of water, or evaluating what it felt like on my typical children versus my son. Helped me identify what it feels like when it's working properly, and helps me identify what I'm feeling for when it's not working optimally. So hopefully this ball will give you a better visual. So just imagine this is the chest of your child, and when we want to do breathing, we want the chest to breathe not only forwards, but we want the air to be able to come out through the back as well, and we also want the breath to come out from the sides. We want to be able to breathe in any position in 360-degree space. So if I'm laying on my side, my other side needs to know how to breathe out against gravity. If I'm laying on my back, my chest needs to go out against gravity. If I'm laying on my stomach, my back needs to breathe out against gravity. You can know that your child is struggling with breathing when you start getting dimorphic features of the chest. The chest is going more flatter, more wider, things like that. Then your child's going to really benefit from the breathing course, and you're making sure that your hands are like just super light. I'm not like compressing or pushing or grabbing. I'm just kind of like rolling in, rolling out. Think about like an ocean wave. Same with your breath. We're offering in that rotation and out that rotation. Using a deflated ball just allows you to identify where you'd want to position your hands in order to get the breath to come out. So for example, if I want the breath to come out in the front, I'm going to position my hands a little bit further back behind the chest, and when I rotate in, I'm going to rotate in from more of the back area, and then I'm going to rotate out. I'm going to do it a little bit more aggressive than I would do on a child, just so you can see what's happening with the ball, but basically they're just sitting on your lap, and you're coming in behind, and you're rotating in, and you're rotating out. Rotating in, rotating out. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to figure out how you can rotate on a chest cavity to get the air to go where you want it to go. So for this example, I'm working on my child being able to breathe when they're laying on their stomach, so the breath comes up to the chest. And I'll show you what it looks like if I'm trying to work with a child on the floor. So if your child is on their tummy and you want to teach them to breathe up through their back, you're going to be coming in the front of the chest, and you're going to be offering that rotational movement in. You want to see the chest rise up and fall back down. It's kind of like when you watch someone when they're sleeping and you can see the rise and fall of their chest. You want to see that same rise and fall happening in the back. Also, if they're on their sides, you want to see that rise and fall coming up against gravity. This balloon, see, like I'm not even touching it super harshly, and I can touch the ball so that I can inflate the balloon where I want it to go. And if I show you what my hands are doing, you hardly see my hands moving at all. But if you notice this section in the balloon, even though it doesn't look like my hands are moving, you can see where the breath is coming up and the breath is coming down. If you're kind of wondering, I use like the palm of my hand and my thumb. It's that nice rotation in and that nice rotation out. Away, breathing, in and out. And we're just trying to get the air to go in the direction that we want the chest to rotate. Hopefully that gives you a little bit more visual, but like I said, one of my best plans of attack was practicing on this kind of a ball, or feeling it in my other children, and then working on my son. And the only way that, like, I can work on him and his breathing, even though he's moving around and doing all these kinds of things. But if you're struggling with it, especially if your child moves around a lot, I'd recommend doing it while they're sleeping, or make sure, like, you know, you guys are literally watching TV together, and maybe your child's just sitting in your lap like this, and you're just coming in from behind, and they're just watching TV, we're just watching a movie, and my goal would be to just work on getting the air to go up and down in the chest, and I'd be working on directing it, the air, where I want it to go. Hope that helps.